How you going? Welcome to my channel, Bootlosophy. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if you haven't, my name is Tech. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands I'm filming on, the Wajik people of the Noongar Nation. So today I'm doing a double unboxing. Parkhurst released more boots recently, and one in a completely different last. And, you know, it got to me. I ordered two. So we're going to do an unboxing of both. And one of them I won't review because it's a style that I've reviewed very often. It's just this is in a different leather that I don't have. The other one I will review later because it's the first time I've had this last. The other one I will do a full review later because it's the first time I've had that boot in the different last. So look out for that one when I do a full review. In the meantime, let's do this double unboxing. Right, we're ready to open the box, and I've got a couple of release notes here just in case I get stuck. So the first one I'm going to open is a pair of boots that you've seen me review often enough, the Richmond boots in a 618 last Stitchdown made in Portugal. As usual, there's the thank you card from Andrew Savisco. They have here a pair of flat wax laces, which I do like depending on the boots. And the boots in their own individual Parkhurst canvasy, linen-y canvasy shoe bags, which I always appreciate. I'm collecting a fair few of these now. So here's the first look at the Richmond Stitchdown in Saddle Waxy Commander. And they come with the leather laces. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I do like these leather laces. They're a little bit thinner than the ones you get from P&W boots, but they fray quite nicely, so often goes with the patina on these boots. I don't know. I think I might sort of enjoy these a bit too. Now, the interesting thing in my immediate impression about the saddle-colored Waxy Commander is it is quite similar to some of my other Waxy Commanders made by Parkhurst. But we'll get them out into the sunlight at some stage and see how different they are. I can't think of the one that I'm thinking of, but there are some saddle commanders that quite look similar to this in Parkhurst. Saddle commanders, Waxy commanders. Waxy Commander is a shrunken suede that's made by C.F. Stead in Leeds in England. And you can see there is a rough outside and the corrected grain side, which has become suede, that then is infused with waxes and so on. And what I do like about Waxy Commander is if you have a slightly lighter surface than the wax in the suedes, this sort of thing happens where you reveal it. And from day one, as soon as you start wearing them, they start to show off that patina. So, going briefly through this boot. It's a toe cap, and it's a real toe cap. So there's two pieces of leather under there. There's the vamp leather enclosed by a toe cap. In fact, I think there are three pieces of leather, the third being the lining underneath. The lining is in the front of the vamp, but not in the shaft, even though it's well reinforced by these back pieces of leather. It's built in a stitch down fashion, which means the uppers are splayed out and then stitched down. You can see two stitches there. One of those stitches will go through the uppers that have been splayed out, the midsole, a second piece of leather. So it's a sort of a double midsole, but they're not particularly thick. They're not like P&W thickness. And then comes the rubber outsole. So the first stitch goes through the two bits of leather. The rubber outsole is glued on, and the second stitch goes through there. I like these Portuguese-made proprietary Commando lug soles because I find them lower profile than the big, more aggressive like Vibram V100s, a little bit grippier than the Vibram the 430, which is a very, like on the Iron Ranger, which is a much lower profile and a little less grippy. Also, I think the composition on these Portuguese ones are a little bit softer, which means it creates a bit more grip. In terms of the construction, quality, brass hardware, and you can see it's nicely finished off at the back, so there's no rough bits. Even these splayed things, I think, are splayed with a washer in them, so that you don't get any scratching at all. It's a semi-gusseted tongue coming up to there, and the pattern is the real toe cap, as I said, the vamp piece, 2/4 pieces, and then a single piece backstay, boondocker style. Let's take a look at the other boot. They're always well presented. Yep. So again, you can see some of the wax that's sort of, even in construction, has sort of scraped off a little bit, showing the patina. And again, I don't see anything wrong with these at all. You can see the quality of the quadruple stitch in the quarter, very fine. You can see the single stitch, which basically attaches the backing leather. Very precise, very clean. No loose threads and no wavy lines. You can see the precision of the double stitch on the backstay. I believe this has a leather heel counter. So the stitching, and on the tail cap, very clean, very precise. And then if you look at the stitching on the Stitchdown double row, again, it's not Viberg-like stitch per density, stitch density, stitch per inch. It's bigger, but it's very, very consistent, as you can tell. And there is some argument that if it's a lot of stitches per inch, you're actually making it a lot harder for the cobbler to replace those stitches in those exact holes. And also what I like about Parkhurst, I mean, that is sanded quite close to the stitch, but usually it's sanded leaving some distance, which means it's easier for the cobbler to restitch those at a different stage. Okay, let's take a look at the other boot. That's the exciting one. This second one is the new Parkhurst model called the Allegany. But I'm a bit confused because the label actually calls it the Evolution Tang. Not quite sure why. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure if this is actually correct. But anyway, if we open it, this is officially the Allegany Captoe. And it's in their Tumbled Mahogany. So once again, thank you card from Andrew. This one's wrapped in tissues, but let's not forget the boot bag and round wax cotton laces. So let's see if there's anything else. No, that's it. So opening this up, this is an unbranded fleecy material. I don't know where these are made. I think these are also made in Portugal, but they might be made in Spain. So this is the Allegany boot. Interesting design, I think, for Parkhurst that has so far done sleek, almond-toed service boots. This time, Andrew's gone for a Munson-style last. This last is called the 645, and I asked Andrew, I knew that his 602 last was called that because 602 was the, ooh, look at that pull-up. Oh, nice. All right. The 602 last is named after the landing ship tank that his grandfather served on during the war, Second World War. And his original last that he started with was the 602 and the 18. And then he created the 618 last, which is the Portuguese Stitchdown models. And I noticed this is not a Stitchdown, so maybe this is made in Spain. I digress. The 618 last, which is the Portuguese models used for Stitchdown purposes, Stitchdown construction, that was called the 618 because it was a combination of the 602 and the 18. And this is called the 645. And Andrew says that he kept the 6 as a continuing series, but the 45 was 1945, the war. So 645, a proper service boot looking design with a Munson last. I'm just, as I'm talking, I'm looking at this and I'm really, really liking this design. I did not think I'd like a Parkhurst with a sort of rounded cap toe, but the more I look at this, the more I think the elements of design are much more sophisticated than just a clumpy Munson lasted boot. There is an elegance in this. It's not dressy by any means, but it's including a dressiness into the elegance of the design. Great aesthetic. So what is it? It's a 6-inch service boot, although I suspect if I measured it, it's going to be about 5 inches. It is a storm welted rather than a split reverse welt. The storm welt is where that thing that pushes up against the uppers leather, that's carved into the welt. Whereas the split reverse welt has a welt that's split slightly and then pushed up against it. Quite a broad welt, as well as, okay, it's not enormously thick. I'll measure it for the full review, but it's quite a broad welt and it's wheeled. You get these corrugations that's wheeled in to create a really pretty look. And it has a commando sole, again, proprietary. This one, it still looks like a Portuguese one, so I'm a bit confused as to which factory made this. Leather heel stack, rubber top lift. It's a full slip rubber sole through which the Goodyear welt is stitched, and then there is a channel stitch here putting the shoe together. In terms of patterns, there's a toe cap. I'm not sure if it's a real toe cap. I'll bring that to you in future. It has a softer heel counter, like quite a lot softer than the other one I opened. So I'm wondering whether this is also leather, but slightly thinner to make it more flexible. Single piece backstay, quite a generous quarter, right? Quadruple stitched, a little bit wonky, just a little bit wonky. Single stitch on the reinforcing elements, rough out on the inside, unlined, and I can feel it's lined with leather in the vamp. Toe cap, quite clean and a little bit wonky there. Okay, so maybe a different factory even. I'll find out. But I like it, because I think if you have a sleek service boot, you want all this to be really nice and clean and concise. But this kind of has the feel of World War II and you're throwing things together. None of that's going to fail, so don't be scared. Go and see my video on 10 things I wish I'd known. And one of the things was, don't listen to people who say, oh, look, it's all over the place. Send it back. At the same time, don't listen to people who say, oh, it's just a boot. Get away with you. Use your own common sense. And that's not going to fail. To some people, that's ugly. To me, that's part of a handmade boot design. Let's open up the other one. Yeah, similar features. A little bit straighter in this case. Nice, and I do like this pull-up. It's just showing gorgeous grain. See how it moves the color of the leather around, the oils? And then if you don't like that, it's too light, just rub it up a little bit. Hey presto, we're back. Love it. All right, let's try both on feet. Okay, so let's put on the Richmonds first. I really sort of know how these fit already because I have so many pairs of boots on the 618 last. And as you can see, perfect fit. I'm 8.5 US on the Brannock device. I generally buy Parkhurst boots, in fact always buy Parkhurst boots, and in a size 8. And go the iconic half down. And these, like all my other Parkhurst boots, fit perfectly. An interesting thing I'm finding with the 618 Stitchdowns is the tongue needs a bit of breaking in. Oops, I missed an eyelet, but I won't worry about it for this quick try on. The tongue needs a bit of breaking because when you first put them on, I didn't equalize that. but that's okay. This is only a try on. The tongue does need breaking in. When you first put them on, they sort of don't sit perfectly against your ankle. But eventually, after wearing this a couple of times, they will. You see how it's sort of floppier outside? Doesn't quite curve in. Oh, I forgot another eyelet in this one. Again, never mind. Normally with these leather laces, I wrap them around the shaft of my ankle. Yeah, so the fit is perfect as I expected. I'll keep one of these pant legs. I'll keep both pant legs rolled up. How's that? So you can see how they fit. Ignore that eyelet. Yeah, Waxy Commander is lovely. It's not stiff. It's very, very supple. And as they crease, they will start to crack on the surface, and that more gingery nap in this case will show through. Really nice feel to it, and I'm quite familiar with the Richmond field. So if you want to know about comfort, go and see some of my other reviews on the Richmond, or even on the Allen in the 618 last. They really feel the same. Often, as in this case, and I think because of that fairly solid veg tan midsole, and I think this one is in a double midsole, it's actually quite hard to initially bend. That obviously gets better with time and wear, and I find if I wear these solidly for 3 or 4 days, that goes away. The push of the leather into the top of the foot goes away. They're not as supple yet until you wear them a few more times. And they certainly don't bend until you wear them a few more times. Nice. Let's try this other pair. I forgot to say when I was unboxing these that the hardware of the two pairs of boots are very similar. Oh, okay, that's quite a different feel. And let me talk about the hardware first. The hardware is very similar, but not the same. You also have this backing piece behind the hardware so it doesn't scratch. But this one is slightly more domed. So I think this is a different factory from the Portuguese one. Yeah, the fit. So Andrew did say to me, I might have to size a half down because of the volume of the Munson toe. We went back and forth and I eventually decided not to, and I'm glad I didn't. Now, the interesting thing, which is why I went, is I don't think this is as wide as a 618 last, which clearly is very, very narrow in the heel and waist, opens out and into the Munson toe. I'm actually quite glad I didn't go a half down because I think that would have been too narrow for me. So just be aware of that. If you're a 602 Leica lover, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. But don't expect it to fit like a 618 where that's a bit wider. Okay, lesson learned. But this does fit. I'm glad I went for an 8 instead of going even further down to a 7.5. It is a different feel though. It's quite a different feeling. That's other foot. This is my wider foot, so I'm quite happy with this. And this time, I remembered to put the laces through all the eyelets. The speed hooks are pretty sturdy. Fairly normal speed hooks. They're not like the P&W posts. Yeah, they're definitely perhaps not as great a fit for me in this last as in the 618. Just like the 602, I love the 602. It fits me well, but the 618 is much better to me. This is in, I'm pretty sure this is in Parkhurst's stock mahogany leather. I think it's a Spanish or a Portuguese tannery that Parkhurst uses as one of their stock leathers. First time I've had it. I see lots of Parkhurst enthusiasts swear by it, and I can see why. It's a nice oil tanned leather. You can see the movement in the oils as I'm walking along. Just gorgeous. Interestingly enough, this feels a little bit easier to bend at the ball of the foot than that Stitchdown Richmond. And I will have to break this in because the right foot ball is quite snug. I'm not feeling a hot spot, but it's snug, and I think I need to break this in properly. Alrighty. I will bring you a full review of this boot. I'm not going to bring you a full review of the Richmond I just tried on because I've done the Richmond before. It's just in a different leather. This is a totally different last. New one for Parkhurst. I will bring you a review. All right, let's sum up. So what do you think? It's been a slightly longer unboxing because I unboxed 2 pairs of boots. I do like this Allegany, and I am in love with the 618 last, and this Richmond is my second one. And I just brought this boot along. This is the Allen boot in the 618 last, and I thought the coloring was similar, but I was wrong. Firstly, this is a Rambler as opposed to a Waxy Commander, also by Charles F. Stead. And this is a more mushroomy color than this, I think. And maybe my thinking that I'd seen this color before might be the Caswell boot, which is on a tobacco-based suede covered over with a darker wax. So all in all, more Parkhurst boots that I bought. I think Andrew is a fantastic designer, quite frankly. Putting up this design, which could easily be a chunky sort of Iron Rangery clown shoe with a toe bump and everything. I think he's done certain subtle things that have made this, I won't use the word dressier, but there's more finesse behind this than a clumped together work boot. I have no doubt that people might want to wear this as a work boot, quite frankly. I think that it's sturdy enough. But I do like this design, love the mahogany. And this is just another addition. Waxy Commanders are patina monsters. As you wear them, the darker wax cracks, the lighter, as you can see, sort of gingery nap starts to come through in the front. So I hope you enjoyed that. Slightly longer unboxing than normal. I will not specifically review these boots, the Richmonds, because I've already reviewed 618 last at Richmond's. If you want me to, fine. Maybe what I'll do is I'll wear these for a few months, maybe up to a year, and then I'll bring them back to show you what's happened to the nap. These, though, I will review. They're a new boot done by Parkhurst. So I'll go through my usual research. I'll talk to Andrew about where they're made and how they're made and so on, and bring these to you in a full review as I normally do. If you don't want to miss that, don't forget to click on subscribe. And of course, if you like this video, it would be a fantastic help to me if you clicked on like. And until then, take care out there. Come back again next week. See you soon.